or Michael. You can't ask me who's the GOAT between LeBron and Michael. Neither one of them are GOATs. They both won differently. You can't put them at the top of the pinnacle. Magic Johnson, to me, is a bigger GOAT than anybody because of how he led, how he brought a whole team.
I remember I was in a shooting slump once, and I asked one of the ball boys to meet me in the gym early a.m., and instead of the ball boy being there, Magic was there.
Okay, I think it's another guy who they looking at, and I watch Magic. I'm like, oh shit, and I'm trying to be cool and calm. I'm like, Magic Johnson about to be one-on-one. And so we playing one-on-one, right? I'm saying, I just want to block his shot, right? Man, I'm almost throwing my shoulder out of socket trying to block the shot. And I don't think the dude ever jumped over 2 inches and wore my ass out. And after I left that thing, I was like, boop, I got to get smarter. Yeah. It ain't about the physical attributes. You have to be a smart player.
Magic Johnson didn't just play point guard. He redefined what a point guard could even be. At 6'9", he wasn't supposed to have the court vision of a floor general, the ball handling of a guard, and the leadership of a seasoned veteran. But Magic had all of it. He led the Lakers to 5 NBA championships, turned the Showtime era into a basketball revolution, and raised the bar for what it meant to be a team leader. No-look passes, fast breaks that felt like rock concerts, and the ability to control the pace of the game without always needing to score, Magic made it all look effortless. Magic was not just a product of talent or size. He changed the way teams built around their stars. He showed that a point guard could be the biggest player on the floor and still be the smartest, the most unselfish, and the most trusted. His ability to lead without making it about himself set a new example that players still chase today. That is why, even now, when people talk about the greatest leaders in basketball history, Magic Johnson's name is always one of the first to come up. Rivals tried to stop him, teammates tried to keep up, and everyone who crossed his path walked away with a story, a memory of how Magic changed the game forever. In this video, you're going to hear those stories, straight from NBA legends themselves, teammates, opponents, Hall of Famers, each of them giving you their view of what made Magic Johnson a once-in-a-lifetime player. When you hear debates about who the greatest basketball player is, the names that always come up are Michael Jordan and LeBron James. People spend hours arguing about who was better, but Shawn Kemp, one of the most explosive players of the 90s, thinks the whole conversation is a little off.
I don't think LeBron should be compared to Michael Jordan either.
Right.
I think LeBron should be compared to Magic Johnson.
Right, I agree with that.
I think whoever started that shit up got it totally wrong, man. LeBron is not no damn Michael Jordan. Kobe is more like Michael Jordan.
Exactly.
LeBron is more like Magic Johnson.
Exactly.
Kemp is not saying LeBron does not belong in the conversation. He is saying that people are comparing him to the wrong guy. Instead of stacking LeBron up against Michael Jordan, Kemp believes the better comparison is Magic Johnson. Kemp is looking at the way LeBron plays, his size, his passing ability, the way he makes the game easier for the players around him. That is not Jordan-style basketball. That is Magic-style basketball. LeBron runs the floor like Magic did. He sees the court the way Magic did. And just like Magic, LeBron's game has always included finding teammates, making plays, and controlling the floor with his vision. When Kemp draws that line, he is reminding everyone that Magic Johnson created a style that is still influencing the best players in the game today. Reggie Miller is one of the greatest shooters the NBA has ever seen. He played through the late 80s, the 90s, and into the 2000s. He faced every kind of superstar, from bruisers in the paint to quick guards on the perimeter. But when it comes to players who actually changed how the game is played, Reggie puts Magic Johnson in an elite group. For Reggie, it is not about how many points you scored or how many MVPs you won. It is about how you made the whole sport look different when you stepped on the court.
There's only a handful of players that you think about that have truly changed the game. Having a 6'9" point guard. I don't think we'll ever see that again in Magic.
At a time when point guards were supposed to be small, quick, and stay outside the paint, Magic broke the mold. He was 6'9", but handled the ball like a guard, saw the floor like a quarterback, and ran fast breaks like a track star. Nobody had ever seen anything like it. Even today, with players getting bigger and more skilled every year, Reggie doubts we will ever see someone with Magic's size and skill combination again. Magic was not just good for his era. He was something basketball had never seen before, and probably never will again. Dominique Wilkins was known for being one of the most explosive scorers of his generation. He battled the best every night and was never one to hand out compliments unless they were earned. So when he talks about Magic Johnson, it is coming from a place of real respect.
I played against him a lot. And when you talk about point guards, greatest point guards ever, okay, what is your real definition of that? That
Magic Johnson, my definition.
To me, the greatest point guard ever because of what he did. And first of all, in the conference, in that Western Conference, and they had some monsters out there, and they dominated them. And Magic Johnson brought a different level of basketball to LA.
Yeah.
Wilkins played during a time when the Western Conference was loaded with talent. Every team had stars. Every night was a grind. There were no easy wins. Yet through all of that, the Lakers stayed at the top. And Magic was the biggest reason why. It was not just the fast breaks or the flashy passes. Magic changed the way the game was played. He controlled the tempo, saw plays before they happened, and made sure the Lakers were always 2 steps ahead of everybody else. Dominique saw it firsthand. The Lakers were not just winning games, they were putting on a show while beating you. And no matter how good the competition was, Magic kept leading them to the top. That is the kind of impact you do not forget when you have been on the other side of it. Scottie Pippen knows all about leadership. He spent years winning titles alongside Michael Jordan. But when it comes to pure leadership from the moment you hit the floor, he points to Magic Johnson as the standard.
Magic Johnson, to me, is a bigger GOAT than anybody because of how he led, how he brought a whole team, how when the greatest scorer in the game, Kareem, was not there, and him as a rookie
center
steps in and plays a position that no one even knew he could play. That's transcending what you can do as a player.
Scottie is not just impressed by Magic's career totals or his highlight reels. He is talking about one moment early on, when Magic showed he was different even before he became a veteran. It happened during Magic's rookie season, and it changed the way people thought about what a player could do under pressure. Pippen is talking about Game 6 of the 1980 NBA Finals. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was out with an injury. Most rookies would have been overwhelmed, not Magic. He played center, forward, and guard all in the same game. He scored 42 points, grabbed 15 rebounds, and dished out 7 assists. And most importantly, he led the Lakers to a championship. Scottie's point is clear. Greatness is not just about stats. It is about stepping up when everything is on the line. And Magic Johnson did that from day one. James Worthy spent years winning alongside Magic Johnson during the Showtime Lakers era. He saw up close what made Magic different. It was not just about the flashy passes or highlight plays. It was about the leadership you could feel every day. One story Worthy tells sums it up perfectly. During a rough patch when he was struggling with his shot, he made plans for an early morning workout to try to fix it. What happened next showed exactly why Magic was a different kind of teammate.
He had a personality that just yielded, leadership. He just refused to lose. He refused to, have a teammate be down. I remember I was in a shooting slump once, and I asked one of the ball boys to meet me in the gym early a.m. And instead of the ball boy being there, Magic was there.
Magic was already in the gym, ready to rebound, encourage, and help pull Worthy out of it. No cameras, no media. Just one teammate showing up for another because that is what leaders do. For Magic, lifting his teammates was just as important as scoring points. It was about making sure everybody was confident and ready when it mattered. That is why those Lakers teams played with such trust and chemistry. Magic made it happen behind closed doors, not just under the lights. George Gervin, known as the Iceman, was one of the smoothest scorers the NBA has ever seen. During his prime, Gervin had a chance to team up with Magic Johnson in Los Angeles. The Lakers wanted him badly. They were willing to trade away multiple first-round picks to bring him over.
Before I signed that last contract, he said, I got, the Lakers want you. And they're willing to give up 3 first-round drafts to it. Now, I'm going to let you make the decision. I was close to the owner here. And I said, look here, man. I don't want to play with Magic. I want to beat him. I signed my last contract here in San Antonio. You know what I mean? So, you know, I had a chance to come out there and, you know, the la la land and play, but, you know, that wasn't my style, man.
Most players would have jumped at the chance. Winning a title alongside Magic, Kareem, and the Showtime Lakers would have been a dream. But Gervin had a different mindset. For Gervin, the idea of beating Magic meant more than chasing a ring. It was about competition, about testing yourself against the best instead of joining forces. That mindset says everything about the respect players had for Magic Johnson. He was not just another star. If you could beat Magic, it meant you beat the very best. Gervin wanted that challenge more than the easy road. Not everybody had that attitude. That is what made the battles from that era so special. Shaquille O'Neal came into the NBA as one of the most hyped young stars. He was 19 years old, larger than life, and already being seen as the next big thing. But before Shaq even played a regular season game, he got some advice from someone who had already lived through everything he was about to face.
I met Magic Johnson at 19 years old. They announce his name, crowd goes crazy. They announce my name, crowd also goes crazy. First time I meet Magic Johnson, he pulled me to the side and he said, "It's okay to be famous. You want to start owning things." 19 years old, I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? But then as I watched him and I studied him, I was like, okay, this is what it means.
Shaq met Magic early on, and Magic pulled him aside. No cameras, no interviews, just a private moment between a legend and a rising star. At the time, Shaq did not really understand what Magic was getting at. He was young, confident, and ready to dominate. Fame sounded easy. But as time went on, and as the endorsements, the media attention, and the expectations piled up, Shaq realized how important that advice really was. Magic had mastered it all. He knew how to shine on the court and handle everything that came with being a superstar off of it. For Shaq, that quick conversation was the first real lesson on how to manage not just a career, but a life in the spotlight. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was already a legend when Magic Johnson joined the Lakers. He was one of the most dominant players the league had ever seen. But even with all his success, Kareem had a business-first approach to the game. Winning was the goal, and celebrations were not really part of the routine. Then Magic showed up and changed the energy.
It was great. Just what he brought to the team in terms of his competence as the point guard, and then as an emotional leader. That's incalculable. You know, what he gave you. You know, that very first game where he went nuts after I hit the shot. And, you know, I was like, hey, man, look, we got 81 more games. You know, I'm going to be pragmatic. But he made it possible for me to see that it was all right to enjoy the moment.
Okay.
And I needed that.
Kareem remembers their first game together like it was yesterday. He hit a big shot, and instead of treating it like just another play, Magic exploded with excitement, celebrating like they had just won a championship. Magic's energy was real. It was contagious. He brought a sense of joy and passion that even a veteran like Kareem could feel. It reminded Kareem that it was okay to love the wins, not just chase them. Magic did not just lead with his skills. He led with his emotions too. And even on a team full of stars, he was the one who kept everybody connected to the fun of the game. Before Larry Bird and Magic Johnson became NBA rivals, they crossed paths in college. It was not during a big televised game or a high-stakes tournament. It was at a simple all-star practice, and even then, Bird saw something special.
I can remember the first time I laid eyes on Magic Johnson. We played on an all-star team back in college. I could not believe what I was seeing in practice. I actually thought I was a bad judge of talent because neither one of us got to play in the games. But I can remember going home and telling my older brother, I just seen the best basketball player I'm probably ever going to see in my life.
Larry has always been direct. He does not hand out compliments unless they are real. When he talks about his first time seeing Magic, you can tell how much of an impression it made. Magic had not even become a household name yet. He had not won a title. He was just a kid at practice. But Bird saw the way Magic controlled the floor, the way he made plays others could not even see, and he knew. That early respect between Bird and Magic set the tone for one of the greatest rivalries in sports. Even before the NBA stage, Bird understood that Magic Johnson was different. Before Michael Jordan became the face of the NBA, he had a label he could not shake. People said he was just a scorer, someone who could light up the stat sheet but could not win when it mattered most. Jordan knew that to be considered truly great, he needed more than points.
Up until that point, it was a stigma that Michael Jordan, all he does is win scoring titles.
he never wins championships. That was my chance to get in the category of Larry Bird and Magic Johnson.
He needed championships. He needed to lead his team the way Magic Johnson and Larry Bird had already proven they could. Winning titles was the real measuring stick. Jordan understood that if he wanted his name mentioned alongside Magic and Bird, he had to do more than just fill up the box score. He had to lift a franchise. He had to lead a team to the top, just like they did. Jordan eventually cleared that hurdle, but he never forgot who set the bar before he got there. Magic was not just a rival. He was part of the blueprint Jordan had to match if he wanted to be seen as complete. Bill Walton played against some of the greatest players the league has ever seen. He has seen the debates, the rankings, and the endless arguments about who is better. But when it comes to Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, Walton believes fans should look at it differently.
You know, Larry and Magic, these guys are just fantastic, and just enjoy them for who they are. And I've learned over the years, and granted I'm the slowest learner ever, but I've learned to never rank or rate or compare children, championships, concerts, coaches, or congratulations. Just enjoy them.
Instead of constantly trying to compare and stack players against each other, Walton thinks we should just appreciate them for what they brought to the game. Magic Johnson was not about numbers or lists. He was about changing the way the game was played, about creating moments that fans still talk about decades later. Walton's advice is simple. Enjoy what Magic brought to basketball. The leadership, the energy, the way he made everyone around him better. Trying to put Magic into a ranking misses the bigger picture. Some players are too important to be reduced to a spot on a list. John Stockton is one of the toughest and smartest point guards to ever play the game. He built his career on defense, passing, and doing all the little things that helped his team win. If there was anyone who understood the art of playing point guard, it was Stockton. That is why his respect for Magic Johnson means so much.
All right, John Stockton, I'm going to name 5 legendary point guards. You say the first thing that comes to your mind. Magic Johnson.
Unguardable. I've never been quiet about thinking he's one of the best all-time players, and I had a chance to guard him, and it wasn't fun.
Stockton was known for making life miserable for opposing guards. He was physical, smart, and always in the right position. But even he admits that guarding Magic was a different kind of challenge. Magic's combination of size, vision, and control was something Stockton had never dealt with before. He could not speed Magic up. He could not outsmart him. Even for a player as sharp as Stockton, going up against Magic meant you were reacting, not dictating. Stockton's respect is real, and it shows how unique Magic Johnson really was. Even the best defenders had no easy answers. Kobe Bryant always studied the greats. He was never shy about admitting where he learned parts of his game. He pulled moves from Michael Jordan. He studied footwork, mindset, and leadership. But when it came to vision, passing, and understanding how to control the rhythm of a game, Kobe looked at Magic Johnson.
I grew up watching Magic, and I've had, I've learned so much from him. I can't sit here and be like, I'm the greatest Laker ever. To me, he is, because.
So you guys know you're the greatest
Laker. Without him,
you're the greatest Laker.
I got to keep it real with you. Like I've stole so much from him. That my game wouldn't be complete without him.
He grew up watching the Showtime Lakers and wanted to bring some of that into his own style. For Kobe, it was about building a complete game. Scoring was one thing, but to truly lead a team, to make others better, to know when to slow the game down and when to speed it up, he had to learn from someone who had already mastered it. Magic's influence did not just shape Kobe's passing. It shaped how he saw the responsibility of being the leader of the Lakers. When Kobe talks about what he borrowed, it is a reminder that even the next generation of legends had to learn from Magic Johnson to reach their full potential. Every player you heard from just now, scorers, passers, champions, Hall of Famers, all pointed to the same thing. Magic Johnson changed what it meant to be a point guard. He was not just running plays or posting stats. He led in a way that made everyone around him better. He turned fast breaks into must-see moments. He made winning fun and made teammates believe they were part of something bigger than just basketball. Magic showed that being a great player was about more than scoring. It was about lifting a team, setting the energy, and making sure the whole building felt it. Decades later, the best players in the world still look at Magic as the blueprint. The way he played, the way he led, the way he changed the game. That is why his name is still in every conversation about greatness, and why it always will be. Magic Johnson's career was about more than the trophies, MVPs, or highlight reels. It was about changing what was possible on a basketball court and doing it with a style and energy that brought people together. He turned fast breaks into celebrations, made leadership look effortless, and set a standard that players across every generation still respect. That kind of impact does not fade. It stays part of the game forever.